Are you tired? Do you have a nice time here at the conference? Well, not like, do you have a nice time or not? Okay, that sounds much better. Thanks you for joining this session. I saw there were few sessions that were not development session. This is not development session. This is more about user experience, about design and interactions with the users. But it is for developers because my background is development and through the years, as I founded my company and started doing management things, I also started learning a lot about user experiences, interaction with the users, and everything else. So I want to show you like what you should care about and how you could or should handle your users, actually your customers. So my name is Antonio. I'm from Croatia, from Split. I co-founded Locastic 9 years ago. We are a software development agency doing consulting for clients from all parts of the world, and we are doing a lot of user experience projects at the moment, including some banks and telecom operators. So that includes testing with users, building wireframes, testing the prototypes, and actually always the target is to get most for the users and to earn more money, of course, when you are talking about banks or telecom operators. This is some of our works. Uh, we are not uh, Microsoft development company. We are actually doing a PHP, and I'm speaking at many PHP conferences and on front end, of course, React, Angular, and other things. And as I told you, lately we started doing a bunch of user experience projects. If you have any questions, we can talk later about that. I want to talk about other things. First question is there anyone who is not developer here? Okay. Uh, Is there anyone who is doing any kind of user experience work? Okay, few people. Cool. So, meet the banana. Why the banana is so special? Actually, this is the perfect experience of the perfect user experience. Do someone knows why? Yeah, that's like branding thing. But if you want to eat banana, do you need any kind of the tool? Will you get messed? You even have the lines how to peel it up. But the most important thing, you don't need to have experience to eat banana. If I give you banana, you will start peeling that and you will know how to eat it. So it's very simple and it's actually like perfect product. So imagine if we can develop that kind of the products for our customers, for our users. The life will be much easier. So if they open the application and they just start using it without guidelines, without README files or whatever, that will be very nice. So actually this is the quote how what explains that. Like try to design for the stupidest user that you have and then simplify. That is the like gold rule. And if you think that user experience is not something important, this is the amount that will be lost in 2020 because of the bad user experience. There are many zeros here, and it's more like 25% of the total revenue just in the e-commerce. I'm not talking about other industry. So this number is like huge. It's a bunch of money. So let's go back and talk about the users. So actually, who are the users? Who are the people that we are actually building software for? I'm not talking about stakeholders. That's the different thing. I'm talking about users who are using your software. So what I don't prefer actually, it's not calling them users because there are only two industries that have users, and that are software development and drug dealers. Other industries have customers or clients, and we also have our customers, our clients, the people who are using our software, who are interacting with our software every day. And if we think that we don't know who they are, we actually know. We have all the data about them. We know which gender they are, how old they are. We know a bunch about their interests and don't tell anyone, but we actually know where they are living. So we know who they are. We don't know their exact name in some situation, but we have all the information that we know for who are we building our software. Okay. Second thing is, what is user interface? If we are talking about some interaction with the users, we need to define what is user interface. And actually user interface is everything. This pointer is user interface. This chair is user interface. Anything that we can interact with is a user interface. So it can be keyboard, it can be mobile device, it can be anything. For our users today, the most important user interface is, who knows? Yeah, phone. Like if we check some statistics, which is not like something that we should be proud of, but you can see that more people have mobile phones than electricity, bank account, or running water. This is something like for humanity is not something that we should be very proud of. But yeah, there is like 5.4 billion mobile phones today in the world. That's a huge number. So actually we are serving more data to the mobiles. We are using more mobiles than our desktop devices. So in 2016 we start to search more from the mobile devices. In 2017 we first time served more data to the mobile phones than to the desktop devices. And how we are using, actually we are still using our mobile phones more on the mobile apps than on mobile web. And mobile web has much bigger reach than mobile applications. For mobile applications you need to download it, you need to install it, you need to start running and everything else. On the web you just need to Google it and that will work. The reason for this amount difference, the huge difference in the number is that because mobile web is actually broken. The user experience of the mobile web is awful. Like we have too slow websites. We have very data consuming websites. So for example, if there is no roaming in European Union, downloading this simple website will cost like dozens of 10, 20, 50 euros per one page, which is just like, I don't know, scheduled for a train or something like that. That is a little bit nonsense, but we will talk later about that. So let's talk about user experience. So what is actually user experience? User experience if we are talking only about software development, we usually assume that is just the part how our users are using our application. That is actually wrong, because user experience actually includes a bunch of other things. So you said that the banana is recognizable. That's part also of user experience. How we eat banana is part of the user experience. And bunch of other things. So if you are talking about some company or for example Microsoft, that's branding, that's their customer support, that's their sales team, everything around is user experience. We can say it's maybe customer experience, but it's everything. It's not just the application in, I don't know, Azure or something like that. Okay? And UI is not user experience. This is the picture which describes it perfectly. We can have amazingly beautiful UI, but for the users it can look like this, like it's nothing, literally. I can't use that. So if you have a kid, take care of that. So let's talk about like award for the users. So if we have bad user experience, but we have huge award for them, let's say the big part of the cheese, then we will like make our suffer to get that cheese through some electrical grid. The bigger cheese is, the bigger electrical grid can be. So your user experience can be really bad if you have a big part of the cheese. Of course you don't have that. You will never have that. The only like examples that I remember who had enough cheese was like ICQ, Napster in that time, because they didn't have like any competition or anything. Today when we have like WhatsApp or something like that, nobody uses ICQ. Who remembers ICQ? Okay, well, this is like maybe possible if you are giving like free music, free movies or something like that. In other cases, I don't think so. So this is one of my favorite quotes. Actually, I have two quotes about user experience on the slides. You know who is Jeff Atwood? Anyone who doesn't know? Okay, co-founder of Stack Overflow actually, and he has amazing blog which is called Horror, and he has also amazing book about that. So he said like, I don't care how many architectural diagrams you have, Visio, whatever, but if you don't have actually very good UI, user experience, you don't have anything. And that's true for the user if you think about that a little bit. This is also the book. Actually there is entire chapter in this book called The UI is the Application, and that was inspiration for this talk. He's writing about how they build the user interface for the first versions of the Stack Overflow. It's amazing journey. So there is also a lot of other advices how to set up your chair and how to be better developer without actually writing the code. So definitely recommendation. Second quote that I love is from the creator of the Ruby, and he said like, if you have slow system with the bugs, you can fix that. You can invest some money, some time, improve it, that will work. If you don't have UI, you don't have literally anything. So they have like the same opinion about that, and I agree with them. So the UI for the user is the application. They don't care, do you use .NET, do you use PHP, do you use Ruby, do you use Node.js? They don't know anything about that. They know that they can take their phone and they can scroll it, press something, something will happen. They don't need to think about what will happen because that needs to be obvious, and that's it. That's the users. They are not developers. They are not experts in software development. So that's how we need to think about that. And that's the job of everyone here, any designer, product manager, anyone. So we are all included in that like software development cycle. Okay. So question, what is the situation where there is no help for your product? There is one situation. Even if you have the best user experience, but if you don't solving any problem, like if there is no purpose of that, nothing will happen. Okay. The first issue when we are talking about user interfaces and user experience is this. We have designers, we have developers, and we always have some fight against them. Like, who thinks that it's harder to work with designers? This is not fair because there is no designers here, but who think it's hard to work with designers? Yeah, a lot of people think that. Maybe you are shy, but a lot of people think that. They also think it's hard to work with developers. But actually we need to work together. We need to change the way how we are working. So usually in some software development process, designer delivers some PSD document or sketch document or whatever. Then developers front-end starts to slicing that, implementing, back-end starts to getting in place and everything else. And then designer just disappear from the project. So and then like if you ask him, he's busy or something like that. That's the first problem. They are not working together on a solution. Then the second thing is that designer can sometimes over-design some things and something maybe it's really impossible or hard to implement or it's too much time-consuming. And then also developers like a little bit don't appreciate the designer work because they think it's quite easy and not so important. Actually, how we can change that is to start doing user experience and user interface first. That's how we can prototype our products. So what's the idea? It's the idea to work together as a team, to put all the skills inside team and try to solve the problem together from the beginning till the end. To design first the prototype and then start developing once we define how the product should work and how it should look like. What is actually here, like I already told you about the two problems, but what actually this solves? It solves few things. First, entire team is working together on solving the problem. Second thing, both developers, designers, product owners, PMs, everyone, we are all visual persons. It's much easier to build something, develop something if you see how it looks. If you have just specification like build a login form with username, password or something, that is much harder comparing to the situation where you have the prototype and you know what you need to build. And this is also a very good situation for the client and all stakeholders because they are not imagining something they will get. They actually have the clear idea how product will look like and how it will behave. Also, one very dangerous thing is that when you have user experience experts who are pre-assuming things. That's the worst thing that can happen. Actually, there is second worst thing after that, but they should not do that. There is data. They need to read the data. So that's the reason why UX is actually more engineering work than people usually assume. You have the data, you just need to implement that in proper way and give your users the best possible user experience. Do you know what's the HIPPO? Highest paid person opinion, like root of all evil. If you have someone in a room who is like behaving like that, he needs to be, or they need to be kicked out of that room because that looks like this. You have all the data and then you have this guy here who is like, that's my is the last. So don't do that. Let's make decision on the data. Today, getting the data and getting like proper data from your users, even if you just released your product, is like it costs like maybe $50 per month, maybe even less. Like you have amazing tools. This is one of them. It's called Crazy Egg. That's just one line of the JavaScript and you are getting all the information that you need from your users. Where they are clicking, how they are behaving. You get like scroll map, heat map, you get the video what they did. So this is very powerful tool. For example, when we released the first version of our website, all users pre-assume that everything what's blue is a URL, but some parts of that website were not working in that way. So this is the video actually where you can see how user behaves on your website, where they are scrolling, what they are doing, what they are clicking, and bunch of other things. This costs, I think, $50 per month, and you got like all the insights you need. Even if you don't have budget for testing on users on location, this can give you the data. Also, don't think too much. You will make more problems than you assume. So just focus on the data, focus on the problem, solve it very simply, same as you are when you're writing the code. Keep it simple, and then just move forward. Question: who is working on any kind of the website at the moment? Which one, left or right? So basically half of the internet looks like this today. It's maybe different position of the elements, but we usually have some hero images, we usually have some sliders, then left part of the content, right part of the content, and we made web boring and predictable. That's a little bit tricky. Why this happen actually? Because the good design is the hard, good user experience is even harder, and user experience is quite expensive process. Then we end up to using the patterns that are proven that they are working, but we lost a little bit creativity. So this is okay because we know that this pattern works. We know that our users know how to behave on a website, but development process looks like this. Like when you get the new project, you have all a bunch of ideas, then you draw everything, and then you end up like again on the same house that you already did. So what we need to do is actually we need to focus on details. User experience and design is always about small details, small touches. So basically we need to make it personal. You have amazing article on Smashing Magazine with bunch of examples how to make your website personal. So I just took 2 examples from there to show it, but I recommended to read that article. So for example, login forms are really boring. Did you saw this login form before? But we can make it like a little bit fun. So this is something that you will remember later. It's just simple animation, a little bit of CSS, and it's different, but it's still login form. Also, for example, the MailChimp website, it's exactly as template that I showed you before, but these drawings they did are amazing. They are making the difference. So yeah, you can see that website looks amazing, but if you compare it to the templates that I show you, it's exactly that template. But with the details, they make it better. They make it personal. So this is our website. So when we build, this is traditional like agency website with a blog. So, but what we wanted to achieve, we wanted to put a part of our culture on this website. So first thing what we did is this box here, which actually tries to communicate with you in a human way. Like it will tell you, we are speaking at some conference, we want some award, do you want to join us on next meetup or something like that. And then this part here is actually the real cookie from Croatia. It is the most famous one. I forgot to buy 2 boxes that I had planned for that to bring it here, but unfortunately I didn't have time. But what is happening because of this box, this cookie here, is that we are actually getting every week an email or 2, and people telling that our cookie policy is amazing. We have just a normal cookie policy, and we have like something that is personal for them. Of course, most of them are from Croatia. Yeah, because we all love that cookie. Second thing that we try to achieve, we wanted to present people. We want that it's not just like software somewhere in Croatia agency, but real people. So you have here, for example, Danilo, who is like really strict project manager. Then you have Davor, who is like listening obviously some kind of the weird music. And we try to present that. And even this form, we try to make it more human. Like if you do some mistake, it is funny, it's a personal. Like we want to present people. And that was the idea behind all these details. Last thing is like fist bump. We call that Besa in Croatia, and it's something that we use like every day in our office. Like we are not doing so much handshaking, we are doing more fist bumping. So even if you say Besa on a Slack, he will respond it with Besa. So what we wanted to do here is again make it personal. So we had inspiration stolen a little bit from the Medium, but we changed it to the Besa. So actually you can go there and fist bumping on our website. Okay. Uh, Last thing is, as every agency needs to have a dog, so dog is here. It's a 404 page. Okay, let's talk about A/B testing. Who did A/B or who is doing A/B testing on a website? A/B testing is perfect thing. It will give you data. It will give you bunch of advantages over your users to sell more. But problem with A/B testing is actually we are always testing local maximum. So if we are changing, for example, some form, we also need to have in mind how is that affecting our entire website. Like maybe that will improve subscription to the newsletter, but maybe the people will start buying our product. So that's also something that we need to have in mind. Do you know what was Pepsi challenge? So when Pepsi attacked the Coca-Cola, literally, like they wanted to take market, they started to do Pepsi challenge in shopping malls. So you will have blind eyes. You will get two glasses. One was Coke, one was Pepsi. And on the first taste, you will say what is better for you. And that actually affects stocks of the Coca-Cola a lot in the beginning because Pepsi is a little bit sweeter. So all people say they like more Pepsi. But actually, it's not the same if you take a sip or if you take half a liter of the bottle of the Pepsi and the Coke, because in the end, more people actually loved Coke more. So that's local maximum comparing to everything that is happening on an entire level. Also, the masters of the testing are obviously booking.com, and they notice like if they put bunch of messages that you need to book now because it will remain, you will actually book now. Of course, it doesn't look this nice as on a picture when you are booking something. So some developers have actually made a plugin for cleaning a little bit this booking side. But this is a result of the testing. And you can see that everything like what is danger, it will be sold out or something is in red. And then everything which is like free cancellation, free breakfast or whatever is in green. That's the result of the testing. Everything that you see on a booking.com is result of the testing. Of course, we should not follow always the results of the testing. Sometimes we need to break the rules because it is boring. It is not something that users want. That they go from the booking to the Airbnb and it's almost like the same process and everything. So this, for example, is website of the museum in Amsterdam. So if, for example, any of my designers, if we were developing this product and if some designers presented this to us, we will probably say this is very ugly website, which is like there are some fonts, strange fonts, then this is like how images looks like and other things. But actually this is amazing looking website. It works perfect. It's different and it's really, really memorable. So if I ask you like, can you remember one website that looks amazing that you saw in the last month? How many of you can remember? One? Two? So that's two people free. That's the internet that we are consuming today. Obviously, users are not reading the instructions. So if you have like new application, then you have boarding process, probably half of us or even 70% will just skip how I should use this application. And then if we don't know how to use it, we will be annoyed about that. Yeah, same as a README file when we are taking something from the GitHub. But this is the whole picture of the first versions of the Stack Overflow. So this is description how to use markup language. This is what users are doing. And they got a bunch of questions how to use it, how to bold text, because they saw only this. They just don't care. They saw that. They don't want to read. They don't need this. So actually they moved that later to this part of the website when they learned on example, and then users were forced to read that. So users are not reading our instructions. This is something that we are using every day, right? This is something that we actually learned how to use. We are a generation that is not born with this skill. We never used Palm before iPhone and other things. Our kids are, we are not. So this is something that we actually learned and changed the way how we are using. Same as this. But today we have like 4 or 5 hours, in average 84 interactions per day with our phone. So that's the interface that we are using mostly today. Let's go back to the performance. 53% of your users will abandon your website if it takes 3 seconds to load. And today we need, on a 4G network, in average is 14 seconds. on a 3G is 19 seconds. That's the mobile web that we are using today. So there is a reason why users are using more mobile applications than mobile websites. And if you think 3 seconds is a load, this is below 1 second, this is free. It is long. It is quite long when you compare it like this. Okay, today we have many techniques how improve this, how we can make web faster with progressive web techniques, applications, whatever, but still we don't care. That's the issue. Who remembers this? So the year was 1993, I think, or something like that. This was game which had multiplayer, single player. I don't remember how many levels we all played at, obviously. But in 2016, the average website was bigger than entire game that we played. Now it's even bigger. So this game in a free version was like 2.2 megabytes, and average websites today is 3.7 megabytes, consuming all memory that our laptops have, all CPU power that our laptops have. So obviously we are doing something wrong, and that's bad user experience. Okay, 90% of CPU and memory usage is something that users don't even see. It's tracking everything what's happening. If you open Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, they are tracking every move of your mouse. But still, as developers, and from this example, we see that we are doing something wrong. And what is wrong is that we put more priority on developers' experience comparing to user experience. And users should be always first. So this was also a tweet from the Jeff the Cake. Like, it seems that web community has decided that developer experience dwarfs user experience, and I don't know what to think about that. So basically we put ourselves as a priority, as a purpose, and then we are doing everything that is easier for us. And we are not thinking about consequences of that. So what we can do is, for start, we can at least learn what we are using as our stack. So for example, is there any front-end developer? Did you ever check node models? So basically, if you even start building simple HTML website that was like a few kilobytes back in, I don't know, 1990s, today it's like 70 megabytes of everything inside. And like I always try to suggest people, try to check what is inside your framework. Maybe you don't need entire component. Maybe you literally need 1 or 2 lines of the codes that will do the job, and then reinventing the wheel or some kind of reinventing the wheel is perfectly okay. So yeah, this is the joke from the internet, but usually it's like just add package in every language today. So learn what stack are you using. So how to decide what to build. So this is simple matrix, very simple one. We have like user value, and we have effort by organization. Let's say this is money, and this is what users are getting. So if we are here, like in some small amount of time for a small amount of money, we will get great user value, we will build that. If we are here or here, we will maybe build that, but if we will spend a lot of money and we will not get any user value, that's something that we don't need to build. Not even if the hippo tells you that you should build that. For example, this is one amazing feature. I was like really impressed. I don't know why other e-commerce solutions don't have this, but if you are using ASOS, you maybe notice that. Like when you register, you need to enter information about yourself, obviously. And then you get the suggestion, what is the perfect size for you? I'm 1 year older now. Yeah, we have the same style, obviously. But you can see, my Fit Assistant told me that my size is XL. How many times did you order something and it was like wrong size or anything? And this is not, like, you are all developers, this is not very hard to implement. And this probably boosts your sales to the sky. Because like, I know what to buy. If I even pick the M size, I have suggestion that my size is XL. So this is like really high value feature, which I will say not so big effort to build. and it will bring more money and more customers to our e-commerce solution. Accessibility. Do you know how many people has some kind of disability and difficulties today in the world? Almost 50%. That's more than 1 billion people. And 110 million to 190 million adults have significant difficulties. And we still say like people with disabilities are not our clients. Like the math and numbers are against us. So this is something that should be built in. There even like when you are planning that, like putting the basic accessibility things like alt text and other things in a website and web application will dramatically increase the value of your website, and more people will be able to use it. So have this in mind. There is like really simple, I forgot to put it on a slide, cheat sheet for accessibility, which is like maybe 1 day of work. And then you get a bunch of, even now by the law, I think in United States you need to build for accessibility. So please have this in mind. Also try to design for the future. This is hard. Even as a developers, we are actually developing based on our experience, and our experience is from the past. If you compare to the kids, they are like 1 day in the future, we are like 10 days in the past. So basically I have 3 years old girl, and when she was like 2 years, she started to use iPad. That was perfectly normal for her. Even in front of TV she tried to change the channels and other things, because the touch and motion for her is primary input. When I gave her the mouse to try to click on that, she spent like a week, and she is still struggling with the mouse. That's not like natural input for her. Her generation will talk to Siri like every day. I'm using that like maybe once in a week or something like that. That's the thing that is happening now, not in the future. But we still like talking about that as it is like future for 10 years. No, that's happening now. That's today. So try to predict what will happen and try to build and design for that. So for example, let's call it kind of the future is the voice. And voice will complicate development process and everything. For example, if you want to optimize for search, if you open the Google, we will get 10 results. The user will maybe check first 5. But if you ask Siri or someone else, like, give how many results you will get? Only one. Like you expecting that device to give you the solution. And I have a few more questions for you, and we will have some time for the questions. So who thinks this is good design? Why? Okay, that's the reason. Yeah, that's a good clue. And who thinks this is good design? This is mobile application. Why? Okay. Okay. Okay, let's go back to this one. Context, that's the topic that I want to talk about. This is some kind of the hostel in Amsterdam, where if you want to have nice time, go party, drinking and everything, this is the place where you want to go. And that website looks perfectly for that. Like it's not something serious, you are not expecting some fancy room pools, I don't know, HotTube or something. There are pictures from the Facebook, from the Instagram, you are getting exactly what they are promoting. So this is for them good design. This here is mobile application reader. It is using the, you will see later, it's actually, you can download the book, but it's using the special font that helps people with dyslexia to read better. And regarding that font, it's a perfect application for them. So especially for the kids who have problem with the reading or problem with the focusing on something, this font actually helps them, and now it's in phase that actually it's almost scientifically proven by the science. They are working on that now. We actually worked on this project, so I know a bunch of that. So you can download the book, you can change the font, then you have a bunch of features that helps you. So that, yeah, the context matters. It's not the same to build like page for a 5-star hotel, or build something for a hostel, or build something for people with some kind of disabilities. This is not the error, this is actually the black screen. Who think this is the good interface? For who? This is the interface for the blind people. This is what they see. And then we have perfect user experience for the blind people.
You might wonder how blind people deal with everyday challenges. Well, normally the answer is simple. We're not that different from you. We play music. We go to school. We go to work. You get the picture. But sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to
First available helper.
That's where you come in.
establishing video connection.
Through your smartphone, Be My Eyes connects the blind with sighted people through a live video connection. Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button.
That's a nice picture of you and your family, Caroline. Is it for a present? Yes, it's a photo from my parents.
You can help just by installing the Be My Eyes app,
Print image.
and we'll notify you when someone needs your help. And if you're in the middle of something, don't worry. Someone else will step in. So, would you care to be my eyes?
I had the same look as you when I saw this first time. But actually, I want to close with that. That's the primary goal of technology and design. We need to get to the people through the emotion and to the improving their lives. And if we can succeed that, that's the biggest achievement that we can do with technology, design, whatever. Thank you. Questions? Okay, it's called I think it's the full name is the Getting Privacy Back to the Internet. Personality Back to the Internet. But just Smashing Magazine personality, and it's the first result. More questions? Sorry, it's a crazy egg. Yeah, you get everything in a crazy egg. So it's just one line of the JavaScript, you put it inside, you get the heat map, scrolling map, a bunch of other features, and the most important, you get like videos of what users are actually doing. And it can save a bunch of time. It's really valuable data. There is a bunch of similar things that can do that, SaaS softwares, but this one was quite easy for us, and they have really nice user experience. Crazy egg. Egg. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, thanks.